Growth Educator here. I grow learning beyond limits. Today, we're in a learning series called The Dreamer's Details. We are taking a look at the characters in the book called The Alchemist. The first character we are going to take a look at in this series is Santiago. Santiago is the main character in this story, and I want to just let you know there's going to be a spoiler. Santiago is a dreamer. He is the determined dreamer. He gets this dream. He's in the Andalusian mountains and he is shepherding sheep. Then he has a dream, and this dream reoccurs on multiple occasions. He goes to a gypsy woman and he gets insight from this gypsy woman as to what his dream is all about. And the gypsy woman tells him to head to Egypt, go to the pyramids. He's got a treasure at those pyramids. He does what he needs to do in order to sell off some sheep and make the arrangements necessary. He heads off. On his way off, he meets this man called Melchizedek. Melchizedek is a character actually in the Bible, and he is also a character in this particular story, a very similar character as the character in the Bible. He is essentially this character that has no beginning and no end, and he gives direction. He basically tells Santiago that, man, this is your personal legend. This dream is the very thing that motivates your life. You need to go, son. You need to go and take care of this dream. Like, go get it. So Santiago finishes this conversation with Melchizedek and he heads off, but immediately when he heads off, he gets robbed. So he no longer has any money. Then he finally gets to a spot where he's gonna go ahead and travel. He travels to Morocco, stops there, and he meets a crystal merchant. This crystal merchant gives him an idea of what it's like to be a person who dreams, but puts those dreams off. The crystal merchant is not the kind of person who takes action. The crystal merchant is the exact opposite of Santiago. He's not a determined dreamer. The crystal merchant, whom we'll go into detail about in a future lesson, is not a determined dreamer. He's just this dude who doesn't really care to move forward on his dream. He's an older guy. He works with Santiago. Santiago works with him. But Santiago has these clever ideas for this older guy. The older guy puts these ideas into action, and then he makes a whole bunch of money. He shares some of that money with Santiago, and Santiago is finally ready to leave, but he got so comfortable there that he wanted to stop off, but he did not want to be like this crystal merchant who didn't follow his dream. So he heads off. He leaves to follow his dream. So he continues on as a determined dreamer. He continues on in his direction in order to go and find the treasure. He's off to go find the treasure. He hops on this caravan to cross the Sahara Desert in order to get into Egypt. And when he's in the Sahara Desert, he meets a few people. He meets this Englishman. The Englishman's kind of a quirky, peculiar guy whom we will talk about in another lesson. There's a war going on in the desert and the caravan has to stop. And if they want to get swallowed up by the war, have everybody killed, they better stop at this oasis. This oasis is a place of peace, or so they thought. So he hops off the caravan. They go to this oasis. He befriends this Englishman, and the Englishman is looking for the alchemist. So, in efforts to look for the alchemist, the Englishman is like, "Hey, Santiago, help me out." Santiago obliges the Englishman, starts helping him out to find the alchemist. They're asking different people, "Hey, do you know who the healer is? Hey, do you know who the healer is?" Finally, Santiago meets this young lady named Fatima, and he is stricken. There's a page and a half, where, man, it's some of the most beautiful writing about love. It just captures you right in. He sees this woman's eyes, he sees what she's all about, and he falls in love with her immediately. He comes back to talk to her daily, and then he loses sight of his dream again. Just like with the crystal merchant, he starts to lose sight of his dream. The dream is far off. He might want to stay there in the comfort and security of the oasis and love Fatima for the rest of his life and not continue on. Who cares about that treasure? I found my treasure in Fatima, but Fatima's like, nope, 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 nope. You got to go on, move on. You got to go. Finally, he gets to a spot where he realizes that he has a dream, and in this oasis, which is a place of peace, he goes to these chieftains and he tells them, "Hey, there's going to be some people that are going to come and they're going to try to kill you guys." They don't believe him. He goes back. He has to wait a few days. and they say, "If this doesn't happen, man, we're gonna kill you." So they take his advice, they leave the area. An enemy, a tribe comes in, some tribal men come in, and they try to kill all the citizens in the oasis, and they realize that nobody's there because, well, Santiago tipped them off. He had a dream. He let them know, and they left the area. And so the tribe came in, and everybody was gone. But then those people who were citizens of the oasis came and descended upon this tribe and killed them all. Santiago then takes off, and he meets the alchemist. The alchemist is there as another mentor for Santiago, just like Melchizedek was. The alchemist helps out Santiago, but before he helps out Santiago, Santiago had a little bit of money, and there was a group of people who were enemies came to Santiago, and they wanted to kill Santiago and the alchemist. And the alchemist is like, "Hey, leave us alone. Here's the money." And this dude right here, Santiago, he's gonna turn himself into the wind. Santiago's like, "I have no idea how you think I'm gonna turn myself into the wind. I've never turned myself into the wind." But there was no doubt in the alchemist's mind that Santiago would turn himself into the wind. So he did not flinch. While Santiago was like, "Oh my gosh, what has this man gotten me into?" Very soon, Santiago turns himself into the wind. Another obstacle diverted. Santiago, the determined dreamer, continues on his path to go find his treasure. He goes and he finally gets to the pyramids. He's in Egypt. He gets there. He starts digging. Here's the spoiler, people. He then gets beaten up by these guys, and they're like, "What the hell are you looking for?" He said, "Man, there's a treasure here somewhere, but I can't find it." One of the guys looks at him and says, "You know what? There was a treasure back in the Andalusian hills I had a dream about. It was over by this church or whatever. You think I'm stupid enough to go and take a trek all the way to Spain in order to find this stuff? I'm not doing that." And so they left. And it says that Santiago felt the pyramids laughing at him, and he laughed right back because he got his answer right there. Scene shifts, and Santiago's back in Spain, and he finds the treasure right back where he had started. And at the very end of the book, he says, basically, he's coming to get Fatima. Now, as you could see throughout the entire tale, Santiago is determined. Santiago has things come into his life, obstacles that come into his life, and they are insurmountable obstacles, or so they seem. But he overcomes them. If you are looking to be a dreamer and live out your dream, you must have the determination to figure out how to keep moving forward regardless of what takes place. Your moving forward is dependent upon the clarity of your vision, the focus on your vision, and your desire just to keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Be a determined dreamer, just like Santiago. And if you are a determined dreamer, it may not be in 5 years, it may not be in 10 years, it may not be in 15 or 20 or even 30 years. But if you just continue being determined for the dream that's in your mind and your heart, you will eventually arrive at the destination. You will be able to find your treasure, and your treasure may not be by the pyramids in Egypt, but they'll be somewhere for you to find your treasure. Your treasure is out there, so be a determined dreamer. Do not let obstacles get in your way and block you or stop you. Do not let comfort or convenience keep you from moving forward toward your dream. Continue to dream, but be a determined dreamer, and that's how you get what you need. Follow, like, share. Growth Educator here, growing your learning beyond limits.